7, 8, 9, 10. Peace, everyone. Welcome to the Friday Listening Party. I'm Eric Lee 108, author, rapper, and philosopher, and today I'm debuting my brand new track like I do every Friday, which is called Herb. This week's drop is called Herb. Before we jump in, drop where you're watching from and let me know if you read the blog post at Fiennes.com. Fiennes spelled Fiense.com. Check out the store. I could really use your support. If you go to Fiennes.com/memberships, um, you'll understand why I need your membership so bad. It would be nice if you could support me with a $5 membership, and you get access to the site for that, priority Q&As, be able to interact with the community on Fiennes.com. But yeah, this is what the blog post looks like. So I'm gonna read the blog post. I can't really play the song. School doesn't pick it up. I don't know if it violates YouTube's guidelines, and then Instagram doesn't let me play my own music, or any music for that matter. So I'm just gonna read the blog post. Uh, it's called Herb. So check out the store. I could really use your support. If you hear something that hits you, type it in the comments. Let's go bar for bar. But I'm reading the blog post. Who made the beat? It was El Marquis. Who does it feature? There is no feature. Is it Cosmic Love? Not as far as I can tell. And I do not have any announcements. The latest release is Herb. Last week's release was, I think, Hyphy. And then the next week's release is Cups Up featuring Ghostface Killah and Lone Wolf. So this is the blog post. Herb, a weed anthem for the legal era of cannabis culture, healing, and high vibes. Herb is my 144th official release and 227th track published. The beat was made by El Marquis and was mixed by Keanu Beats. Herb, a treatise on smoke, sound, and the human need for escape. Workday, smoke day, the pressure and the pause. There are seasons when the world weighs too much, and October is one of them. Tracks like Yeah We Bang 2, MAGA, and Thriller were created in the middle of cultural tension, political hostility, and relentless absurdity of American life. Those songs carried critique, stress, and heat. They were built from confrontation. When Herb arrived, it wasn't running away from the intensity, it was exhaling after it. The song steps into the frame not as an escape from the truth, but the break of a person needs when the truth becomes too abrasive to hold nonstop. Eric opens up with the track mantra, "It's a workday, day, music is my currency," which reflects the kind of grind of life for an independent artist who must create, promote, build, and survive all at once. Cannabis enters the scene as a counterbalance, the thing that softens the edges, slows the gears, and offers the kind of breath the modern world rarely grants. The herb becomes the moment of reset between the responsibilities and the chaos, a reminder that rest is not a luxury but a necessity. Higher than the bird, higher than the burden. Lines in the I'm flyer than a bird, higher on the herb than Snoop Doggy Dogg. Go and spread the word. Are playful but sit atop something real. The human need to elevate above burdens that grind us into dust. Cannabis has always been a tool for mental evalu mental elevation, not necessarily to escape reality forever, but to see it from a different angle long enough to survive it. The Snoop Dogg reference carries cultural weight. He's a symbol of good vibes, levity, humor, and the refusal to let the world's violence colonize the spirit. In that sense, herb is a torch passed from one generation of smokers to the next, a recognition that sometimes attitude is survival in the modern world where legal cannabis is now a legitimate industry spanning dispensaries, cultivators, labs, distribution networks, and artisan craft growers. This elevation is no longer something hidden. It has become normalized part of society. And entire states have built economies on the backs of this plant, and the culture around cannabis has shifted from taboo to mainstream. Herb, with its references to height, freedom, and flight, mirrors that social transformation. 3. The sensuality of smoke, a body high philosophy. The smoke so good it feels like isn't just a joke or a shock line, it's a description of how cannabis interacts with the sensory system. The track leans into erotic exaggeration, boobies, doobies, because pressure is part of the human experience and cannabis amplifies pleasure pathways without the dangerous associated with harder drugs. THC triggers dopamine release, relaxes the nervous system, and heightens sensation. The song's more explicit sexual lines are comedic, outrageous, and intentionally unfiltered, serving as a reminder that art doesn't always need to be solemn to be meaningful. After a month of heavy social commentary, the sensual chaos becomes its own philosophy. Pleasure matters, laughter matters, and weed has always existed at the intersection. Cannabis as medicine and the failure of the war on drugs. Behind the humor and behind this and the bars sits a deeper truth. Cannabis is medicine. Millions use THC and CBD to treat chronic pain, anxiety, insomnia. My bad, Ounce. I'm like getting into this. What's up, man? Um, Big Ounce in the house. Cannabis is a natural plant, non-toxic to the human body, and has no known lethal overdose. Yet for decades, the United States waged a war against it, not because of science, but because politics, racism, and profit. Communities were devastated, families were torn apart, generations were criminalized for a plant now sold openly in boutique shops in legal states. Today, entire legal markets exist in places like Colorado, California, Michigan, Illinois, and more, generating billions in tax revenue that funds schools, infrastructure, public health, and community programs. Legalization didn't collapse society, it improved it. Legal products are safer, lab tested, related, and free of contaminants. Users know exactly what they're consuming. Instead of fueling violent underground economies, cannabis now fuels legitimate businesses, jobs, and economic or community growth. But full justice requires more. Federal rescheduling is necessary. Until cannabis is removed from outdated federal classifications, the scars of the drug war remain open, and millions continue to live with the consequences of a failed policy. Herb, even while playful, sits at a cultural wake of that history. For sure. The herb as economy, a cash crop older than the country. Music is my currency, Eric raps, but cannabis is a currency in its own right. Beyond smoking marijuana, hemp has been one of the Earth's most versatile cash crops for thousands of years. It produces textiles stronger than cotton, biodegradable plastics, high protein foods, medicinal compounds, paper, rope, building materials like hempcrete, and more. With legalization spreading, states are recovering hemp industries, industrial power, and marijuana's medical and recreational value. The legal cannabis industry now employs hundreds of thousands of Americans and generates billions in revenue. Tax dollars fund state budgets, support community reinvestment, and reduce the burden of law enforcement and the criminal justice system. Society is measurably safer when cannabis is legal and regulated. Herb, though a song about smoking, taps into the larger cultural shift, the recognition that cannabis is not a menace but a resource. Six, the terpenine. I actually, everybody I know says, this says terpen, but everybody I know says turpentine. Not to be confused with turpentine. The turpentine gospel, taste, scent, and sensation. Yeah, I'm talking about ganja. It's about my new song, Herb, that just came out. What is today? Friday today. This that that good smoke. Focus on the boldness, turpentine notes, and floral potence. Cannabis has always been as much about sensory depth as about intoxication. Terpenes have strains their Terpenes give their strains citrus, pine, berry, skunk, floral, and earthy notes. They shape how the high feels: relaxed, uplifted, euphoric, grounded, focused, and sedative. The song's initiative, the song's invitation to focus on the boldness is more than a stoner line. It's a nod to the craft cultivation revolution sweeping through the legal states. Dispensary shelves are filled with turpentine breakdowns, potency charts, grow details, and flavor profiles. Cannabis has become gourmet. The herb is treated as a fine wine, specifically specialty coffee or artisan chocolate. Herb celebrates that that elevation of the plant from taboo to tasting notes. 7. Edibles, oils, and smoke and the smoke-free path. You can ingest it from oral confections. Weed is no longer confined to rolling papers and smoke sessions. Gummies, chocolates, uh, tinctures, I don't know what that is. Beverages, capsules, and microdosing edibles have made cannabis accessible to users who cannot or do not want to inhale smoke. This is another benefit of legalization: safety, precision, transparency, and consumer choice. Legal cannabis products are tested, labeled, and reliable. Whether somebody wants the first hand of a joint or the slow wave of an edible, the modern industry supports it. The herb adopts to the user, not the other way around. 8. Llamas, Obama, and the sacred art of taking life too seriously. Toward the end of Herb, the song embraces its absurdity. Pass a joint to the llamas, then Obama, punctuated with the line, "Hit it, Brock." These moments aren't throwaway jokes, they are the release valve. They signal that not every song needs this weight of philosophy, nor does every verse need to diagnose society's wounds. Sometimes art exists to make the world laugh, and lighter, not heavier. After the political and cultural intensity of October, these lines are a reminder that humor is a survival mechanism. Cannabis has been paired with laughter for thousands of years because both are medicines and mind instinctively and the mind instinctively seeks when the world becomes too sharp to touch. The dispensary experience is song designed for smoke. Herb isn't just a song about weed. It's a song meant to be experienced with weed. The track is built to be played while lighting a joint bought legally from a modern dispensary. The sensory richness of legal cannabis, the terpenes, the smooth grind, the clean burn is part of the listening environment. The song is intentionally immersive, comedic, melodic, sensual, and smoky. It pairs perfectly with the legal pre-roll, a dab, a blunt, or a strain that mirrors the track's feel. From Eric Leo's from Eric Leo 108 to Snoop Dogg to Obama, taking a hypothetical hit, the message remains simple and universal. Smoke the ganja. Legal, legal, safe, regulated, non-toxic, overdose-free. This plant provides a form of relaxation and connection that humans have sought since civilizations first burned its leaves. Conclusion: herb is an escape, herb is a culture, herb is progress. Hey, thanks for sharing the live, buddy. Herb is entertainment after intensity, relief after critique, and levity after happiness. But it's also a reflection of society finally stepping out of the darkness of prohibition and into the era of sensible policy, economic growth, medical use, and cultural acceptance. Cannabis is safer than alcohol, non toxic, impossible to fatally overdose on, and deeply rooted in human history. The legal industry creates jobs, supports communities, generates tax revenue, and removes the shadow that once criminalized ordinary people. The federal government must finish the job with rescheduling, not only to correct past harm, but to open the doors to a future where cannabis is treated with the respect given to any other natural medicine. Herb embodies this transition. Part fun, part critique, part celebration of a plant that has outlived every attempt to suppress it. And in the spirit of the song, from the joints rolled to dispensaries to Snoop Dogg level clouds to imaginary puff past to Obama, the message stands unchanged and unapologetic. Smoke the ganja or put it in food and eat and digest them. Okay. That was the that was the blog post for Herb that came out today, the song that came out today. Shout out to Big Ounce who is on Instagram liking the live and sharing it. It's good to see you. Okay. If you like the song, leave some fire emojis. Who made it? El Marquis made the beat. Keanu produced the song. What drew me to it? It just sounded like a song about weed, and that's one of my themes. So I just made the whole song about it. Usually this kind of stuff is adult, so that's why I put like the sexual stuff in there, because it's also adult. It's not like I'm thinking kids are gonna see this, so or they at least shouldn't be. So yeah, what vibe it created? Kind of like I don't know what you want, a euphoric vibe, a funny vibe. I think it's pretty hilarious. I like listening to it actually. It's gonna be on the What Now 2 album that will come out in the first. No, is it the I think it's the last Friday in December. I wrote this because I was thinking about society. Like the fact that weed isn't legal is like it's terrible for society. The war on drugs is a policy failure. That's like one of the policy failures of the Reagan administration. Besides that, and trickle down economics in Iran Contra. Um, so yeah, it's basically like a policy failure. It should be. I'm not saying it shouldn't be regulated, but it should be treated like beer. I mean, it should be treated better than beer because it doesn't have like the effects of if you get addicted to it and stuff like that. It's easier to get off. Um, I'm not saying it's not addicting. It can be psychologically addicting, and I do encourage young people to wait to start smoking until at least 21. If you can wait to 25. After that, I don't really see the point. But you want that prefrontal cortex to gel. Um, Develop your personality too and everything like that without using it. Uh, let's see. Now I want to hear from you. What do you feel? What questions do you have about the lyrics, the production, or even the process? Leave your questions below. Um, which line hits you the hardest? Would you remix this one? What topic should I rap about next? Thank you all for tapping in with me. This has been the Friday listening party for Herb. If you want to dive deeper, check out the full blog breakdown I have at fiennes.com/blog. That's FIENSE.com. Stream the song on all platforms, and don't forget to leave a review for my music. And if you want to read the books, you can find that at fiennes.com/books. Fiennes.com/books to find the books. Every listen, every comment helps the movement grow, and I could really use a membership. That's what I'm really looking for. And that's at fiennes.com/memberships. Just go check out fiennes.com, basically. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my family. You're awesome. I love you very much. Until next time, see ya. Later, YouTube.